Hi there, we're going to do exercise 3 today. So let me start off by creating a new document, and I'm going to call this EX03, and I'm going to change it to millimeters. Now, if I was smart, I would go ahead and change my default to millimeters since I keep having to change it, but maybe I'll do that in the next video or before the next video. All right, so here we've got our grid. Let's go back and take a look at this. Now, this is one of those situations where actually one of my students did this in a way that I found to be more clever than the way I thought to do it. And what they did was they made one single sketch, and it was basically this right here. And if you recall, you can make multiple extrudes off the same sketch. So they made this sketch, then they extruded this bottom part out, and then they extruded this part out. And I thought that was very clever because my first inclination would have been to make 2 sketches and 2 extrudes, and it worked. Now, part of the reason it works is because if you look at this extrude, it doesn't have fillets on the corners or anything like that. It's just a straight extrude. But hey, if it works, it works. So let's go ahead and try to make this sketch here. So what I'm seeing here is 2 rectangles. I see a rectangle that's 100 wide by 20 tall, and another one on top of it that is 100 wide. And if this is 45 here and this is 20, then the difference between those two is 25. So it's 100 by 25. Then I see a circle and a semicircle, and I think that's how I'm going to go about making it. So let's start off with the 100 by 20. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make this on the front plane. Why? Because if you look here, it looks like it's extruded out from the front plane. So I'm going to make my new sketch on the front plane. I'm going to hit N to look normal, P to get rid of the planes. Now I'm going to start with my first corner rectangle, and I'm going to go, if I believe again, it was 100 by 20. So 120. Okay, now if you notice it's not blue, why not? Well, because it's not really, these 2 blue lines are not located in any particular place relative to the origin. Remember that it was very important that we include the origin in some way in our drawings. And so I'm going to use the midpoint constraint and lock that into the middle. And now everything's nice and black. Okay. Now again, this next rectangle that I see is 25 tall and 100 wide. So let's come back here. Now I'm going to actually do the corner rectangle. I'm going to start on this corner, and then I'm going to hover and go up, click, and is that 100? Yes. But this one is the one that, what the heck did I just do? Never mind. I messed up. It's no big deal. I'm going to go in, get my dimension, and make that 25, and I'm good to go. Okay, so now let's look. This circle here has a diameter of 40, and it's locked right into the center. So let's get the circle tool. I'm going to hover over the midpoint, right? It makes sense that the midpoint here is directly above the midpoint of that line. So I'm going to click, and I'm going to come out. I'm going to click and type 40, and there it is. Now, at this point, I could make another circle, but what I'm actually going to do is use the tool that is the center point arc. Now, before I actually use it, let's look at the dimension here. This radius is 25. So to use a center point arc, you click the center, you come out a ways, and you notice I'm hovering over the yellow line, so it starts on that yellow line. I'm going to click and drag it all the way around to the same line, click, and I'm going to enter 25 for that radius. And there it is. Now, at this point, I'm going to use the trim tool. I'm going to get rid of this line, this line, this line, and this line. And there's my profile. Okay, so let's accept that sketch. I'm going to make it isometric. And I'm going to zoom out a bit and drag it over here. Now, I need a couple extrudes. If you look, this part is, I'm going to do this part first, the longer one. And if you look at this profile here, it shows it being 60. You can see that same dimension over here, but I'm going to extrude it out 60. So I'm going to get my extrude tool. I'm going to click here, change 25 to 60. And now I have it. Now, once again, when you do an extrude, it hides the sketch. So I'm going to click the little eyeball, bring that sketch back. Now my second extrude, if you look, it shows this part being 20 thick. You can also see that same dimension when you're looking down from the top. So I'm going to get the extrude, click here, change 25 to 20. Make sure it says add, which it does. And there you go. And believe it or not, this is now the completed part. And just goes to show you, you can learn from your students. That is a smarter way, I think, than the way I did it. So, hey, good deal. All right, that's it for exercise 3, and we'll move on to another one.